Good afternoon, or good evening. Well, depending on what time you're watching this. Welcome to my daily Facebook Live broadcast. My name is Barry Selby. Quick introduction before we get started. There we go, trying to get my shirt straightened up. Well, not presentable for the camera. I am a best-selling author, speaker, and relationship attraction expert, helping strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. And I'm a passionate champion for the divine feminine. And I was reading an article today that triggered my broadcast, which is why I do these spontaneous ones every day. This is Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart. This is number 232 in an ongoing daily series. Excuse my wheezing a little bit, just a little asthmatic post-sinus, post-allergy type thing. I'm not sure what it is. So today's topic is inspired, as said, by an article I was reading earlier today. I'm just thinking if it ties in. It doesn't tie into my previous broadcast. The last three broadcasts I did, which in case you didn't catch them and you want a quick recap, was about the blame game doesn't work, comparisons cost you. I've gone to call it comparison was bad, and the third one was about those yesterdays. Yesterday's was about I did three in a row and they were spontaneous, but they seemed to fit together. So again, you know what? Forget it. I'm staying on today's broadcast. If you want to find the other broadcasts, I'll tell you about how to find those in a minute. This topic, I think I've talked about this before to a degree because I know after the last Kingsman movie came out, which is where this quote comes from, I started talking about this. But particularly today, because I was reading an article about why you should dump him on the first date. One thing he talked about was about manners. And I've talked about this before, but I want to put it into another context now. Carefully, that is. Being a man, I want to be careful how I put this out there. Because particularly around the metoo and the Time's Up camp conversations and movement that's happening, especially with the Women's March tomorrow, I'm very aware of what's happening and what's changing, and thankfully, for women in the world. There's a lot of coming out, in some ways, for women to come out to speak up against the abuse, suffering, sexual harassment, stuff they've had in the past. And I feel for them, definitely feel for you ladies who are watching and for those women out there who know about this, who've been through this. And I feel like I want to give you some tools, if that's the way of putting it, about how to approach dates, men you want to be in a relationship with a more present, aware way of looking, if that makes sense. So one of those topics is about manners. So it's a long way around of getting to this topic. And I love the quote from the movie, because it was always dramatic in the first movie, and it was in the second movie too, which is, manners maketh the man. And in so many ways that's true, because on so many levels, ladies, if you're watching this one, it's for you to be aware of when you're out on dates. When you are on a date, you want to watch how the man behaves, because it's very telling, because we aren't usually really good at hiding what we're about. We tend to, like in poker, have a tell. We will do things, say things, look at things, respond to things unconsciously. They'll give us away. That can work for you and for us, or for you and against us. It's the way it works. Manners is one of those pieces. For example, there's the overt ways that a man can demonstrate manners by helping you on with your coat when you're getting it ready to go out, open the door for you, getting in the car, into the restaurant, which, by the way, men do this. It's a good thing to do. But it's the subtle levels where it's more telling. How does he treat the wait staff, the busboys, the homeless people on the street? How does he act around them? Does he ignore them? Does he judge them and say things about them? Does he treat them with disrespect? These are more telling signs of manners than helping you with your coat. There are other simple, and there are layers of this. I mean, let's be clear. There are some men who do some but not all of this stuff, and for some women that's fine. But there are behaviors underneath those manners that will tell you vividly, ladies, what he's going to be about if you're in a relationship with him for more than a few months. How a man treats other people, other men, other women, in public, in particular, can be very foretelling of how he's going to be with you down the road. So that example I mentioned about how he treats the busboys or the waitstaff at the restaurant. Sorry, I'm watching these things unfold before I tell you, so just bear with me for a second as I just sort of see it come through. The way that, I'm going to paraphrase the quote from somewhere else, which is how you do anything is how you do everything. That's in the personal growth industry, one of those bigger quotes that's been passed around, and where it's sourced, it's not from the people who think it's from. It's way back before that. If you're wondering where the quote came from, I don't remember exactly, but it's not from the people you think it is. But the thing about that quote is, we tend to do the same thing, act the same way wherever we are. Subconsciously, unconsciously. It's true for everybody. So, ladies, if the man you're going out with doesn't treat the busboys with respect or treat other people with respect, 99% of the chances is going to be in a few months he's not going to treat you with respect either. Maybe you want to drop him on the first date. That's an example. How his habits, because the other challenge is also when you go on dates, and this is true for men and for women, the person you're with may be on their best behavior initially. The thing with best behavior is, if it's not natural, it will show flaws. And to be really clear, ladies, when you meet somebody who is putting on a show, nine times out of 10, if you're not hoping for something different, you'll notice it. And this is the piece I want to get to. There's going to be more telling. And again, excuse me for wheezing a bit. I've got this asthmatic allergy thing that's still going on, so I don't sound as clean as I like to do when I've got the microphone next to my mouth. That's the piece. Thank you. Ladies, when you go on dates that you've met somebody online or through referrals or however it is, you may be setting yourself up for more than you're going to get because you have a vision or intention or dream of what the person's about. When you get into the space of being with that person, you might overlook behaviors, traits, and habits and lack of manners because your vision, not vision, wrong word, your desire, your fantasy, let's be extreme, about that relationship is so held on to, with gripped tightly in your prayers and visions, that you'll ignore the truth what's in front of you. And there are multiple situations, and let me say how many, what the numbers are. There are multiple situations where people have, let me put it into context, multiple situations where women have ended up in situations and relationships where they got hurt, emotionally, physically, sexually, because they didn't see the warning signs earlier because their vision wasn't clear. And I'm saying this in a point of view, not to say that they were wrong or that they made mistakes, but the fact is that there's feedback in there. And this ain't pretty. But it's a thing that we do to ourselves. Now, let me, there we go. Here we go. I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that I did 3 broadcasts in a row that I didn't think related to this. Apparently that wasn't true. The 3 broadcasts I'm going to refer back to briefly. One was The Blame Game Doesn't Work, which was on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday was about comparison not working. And the third one was about betrayal. All 3 of those pieces, conversations, contexts, play out here in this conversation too. Didn't expect that, but apparently it's going to come through that way because I'm feeling it lining up. So how does it line up? I'm glad you asked. this dance of relationship. There we go. Just got to get the stuff in sequence, so it's the way it works. Choosing relationship is based upon where you are right now, in that moment. So if you've got a vision for a relationship or a prayer for a relationship that is, in quotes, not like the previous one, that generally doesn't work. Well, in fact, you're going to attract this one just like the previous one, because putting a not in front doesn't change it. And I've talked about this before as well, about having a vision, intention, what you want. That's part of why I created that 2018 playbook, because of that. If you want to find out more about that, message me. But the lesson I want, or the piece I want to give you, is if you're carrying around blame, comparison, betrayal in your past relationships, and you haven't healed them, they will influence, impact, and it's not like the I word, override is the word, your next choices in relationships. So you may say, I want to have the place of a relationship just like this, this, and this, and all these things. But if you're still carrying out inside feelings of betrayal, blaming yourself for something that didn't work right before, or comparing yourself with somebody else, that will influence and actually will coat your choices with some deterrent to what you really want, which isn't going to be fun. So, and just start with manners and end up with this. I can't help the way these come out the way they do. So 2 things, I guess, as a summary for this. One is, he will give you, ladies, he will give you indicators about what he's really about if you watch closely. So here's your feedback. Watch closely. He will tell you, without saying things about what he's about, who he really is, how he'll treat you, by how he behaves around you when you're on dates. Mostly how he's around the world, treating people around him as well as you personally. So be aware of those things. The second thing is, your choices in partnership may well be overridden, influenced, as I said before, by those other 3 things as well, which I mentioned. So be aware of what you're still carrying around inside. And I highly recommend, if you're not sure what those are, you go back and watch the 3 previous broadcasts I did yesterday. This is 232, so 231, 230, 229. There you go. Look for those. And take to heart the message. Those messages that's about the deeper work, I understand. And, not but, and your choices, your desires will be massaged in a way by those 3 things if you don't deal with them. I think you get my point. So to put this back in context about where you can find these stuff, because I was going to talk about that before, is that these 3 broadcasts, those 3 broadcasts rather than this one, are part of a series. It's called Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart. This is number 232 in ongoing series of daily broadcasts. Ongoing series of daily broadcasts. I try and say that without bunching the words together. I invite you to watch those. They are on my personal page where I broadcast, as well as on my business page where I accumulate them. I also put them on my YouTube channel, which is Barry Selby, as well as on my website, which is barryselby.com. The name is pretty synonymous, or no, it's the wrong word. Contiguous? Something like that. If you look at them on my website, you go to the video blog, you can watch them all there. If this speaks to you and if this helps you, please let me know. And if you know anybody should watch this, please share it with them as well. I invite you to watch my other broadcasts because good stuff's come through. So there's been a value to you. And again, apologize for the wheezing. This allergy thing has been going on, so it doesn't feel good, but it's just clearing stuff out. So I hope you got value from this. And again, please let me know if you got some value from it. If you know anybody should watch it, please share it with them. I did say that already. Told you where to find them. If you want to get some extra help, please reach out to me. And I invite you, as always, please, to take care of yourselves. I'm doing the best to take care of myself, but I invite you to take care of yourself as well. And remember to love yourself. There's a whole conversation that I did before those last 3 broadcasts about self-love, self-awareness, and self-approval, and self-trust. They're all intermixed with those, and they'll help you as well. Because if you do that, you'll choose a higher place in your life. You'll choose a higher quality of relationship as well. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being with me as always, and I'll see you again tomorrow, because every day, Facebook Live. And if you have any questions or thoughts about what I can talk about, let me know that too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.